It's been a difficult, but on the field's been fairly positive. It's been a hard slog this summer, to be fair. But I always knew that was going to be the case. But even when I'm speaking to other managers, I think everybody's very, very similar. Do you know what I mean? I'm sitting looking at me and we're financially, but I think most teams are very, very similar. Everybody's looking at cutting back somehow. I don't think the Scottish market's been that buoyant, albeit maybe Rangers have brought a lot of players in. So it's been a difficult summer, but not really any different from most summers. Just been hamstrung slightly with wages we can offer at this point in the season. So lost a lot of players, but more than confident that with what we've got in the building with myself, my staff and the players, that we'll get a right good go this season. We'll be as competitive as we've always been, and we'll see where it takes us. For the summer market, yes, it's a market we're going to have to dip into. For one, use a loan player probably in Scotland. You're not needing a work permit. There's probably not relocation costs. There's no needing accommodation. So it's a market that we've got to look into. We're forced to look into that market for some of the reasons that I just touched on there. Bringing a player from England, for talking sake, there's relocation costs and there's accommodation on top of his wages. Bringing a player from out with a UK passport, you've got all that again, plus the work permit costs. Because I know what we've got in the building, I trust the process, and do you know what, I've got a fantastic group of staff, including myself there. Like, we all work extremely well together. The success of Livingston's not been me, Gary Holt, David Hopkin. It's been the collective at the club. Now, the staff within that environment have been incredible for this club. Not just the footballing department, the non-footballing department. It's a very close-knit family. So I believe in what we've got in the building to get the best out of the players that we do recruit, and I believe in the processes we've got in place. So I know what I've got in the building, and I'm a little bit short for where I would like to be. 100% yes, but again, the caveat to that probably is go and speak to any manager in any press conference, and I think they're probably saying the same things. Everybody who was at, I met Billy Brown a couple of years ago at a Tynecastle game. He said, we're all 2-3 players away from having the best team, Davy. And you know, it's one of these comments that stuck with me. It's true. Yeah, every manager's probably sitting saying the same thing. So am I happy with the squad? I think there's enough there to be competitive. There's enough there to give it a right good go again this season. Would I like another couple of additions? Of course I would. Of course I would. I think they're recruiting now. They've probably got by that. This time last season they were looking for a wee bit of quantity along with quality, and then I thought they brought a lot of quality into the club. So the recruitment in terms of numbers has been a lot less, which I think allows you to make better decisions. So I don't know how the recruitment works in terms of the structure they've got at the club, but I think they do it very, very well, and I think they've shown again this window that they've recruited very well. They've tested a market that they're comfortable working in. They've obviously got good contacts in that market, but even if I go back to Derek McInnes's days with Aberdeen, I think they've always recruited. There's been good recruitment there. I think they've recruited very well. They finished the season third. They're going to be strong contenders to finish the season third, if not challenge one of the Old Firm. I do think it's difficult for a team outside Old Firm to win the Premier League, but I do think there's the probability there to try and compete for second. But if not, they'll be challenging for third place again. They'll be challenging for cups. So it's going to be a really difficult game of football. Hopefully we've got them a wee bit early in the season, because I know they're still looking probably for 1 or 2 players. But we're very, very similar to us. Start of the season, you need to try and get the best possible start. We've got an incredibly difficult start to the season, but I speak about it quite a bit. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And I think it was yourself a couple of years ago, Brian, where we had a horrific start to the season, but I knew we had enough in the building to keep us in the Premier League. After 11 games, I think you get a slightly better gauge. I think we could all sit here and say we think this is what the league positions are going to be, but if you actually look back at the pundits, the media, personnel that predict 1 to 12, come the end of the season. It is very, 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 very rare has anybody got that right. You'd like to be more ready, does that make sense? I don't think we're never not ready, but would I like to go in that again feeling a wee bit more secure? Yeah, of course I would, but I will caveat that where every manager's probably the exact same as me. So, am I looking forward to the season? I need to put this straight. Am I looking forward to the season? Yes, I am. The comments that were in a paper yesterday were it was tongue in cheek, it was a conversation. I am looking forward to the season. I'm proud to be the Livingston manager, but I'm a pragmatic and realistic enough to know it's going to be a difficult season. Of course it is. Every year in the Premier League's a difficult season for different reasons. I hope not, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. I think he's done enough to earn a bigger contract elsewhere. I'd like to see Livingston release some value in that player. Joel's in the last year of his contract, and every single player that's sitting in my first team changing room with a year left on their contract's for sale. Every player's for sale, but every player with a year left on his contract. I'm not in the business of recruiting, developing, progressing and losing players at the end of their contracts for nothing. I don't think that business model's sustainable. I don't think it's a great way to go, but again, we are where we are, so I would like to see Joel move on, for Joel personally, for the club also. I just hope it's not at the end of August with an offer we have to accept, because you're approaching the stage of the season where that offer's got to be beneficial to the club in terms of, do you want to lose a player that could maybe get you top six, that could maybe keep you in the Premier League, or do you want to take a nominal fee for a player and you lose that skill set? So I hope he's not here for the nicest, I mean that in the nicest possible way, but again, we'll just deal with it as and when. So again, I come into work every day, but try and deal with the problems in front of me that day. Again, very similar to Big London. I knew London wasn't going to be here, Wes, but it dragged on. The amount of players that I had lost out in, because London started the first game against Motherwell in the Premier League that year. I think he actually scored a penalty, and then the next game was Rangers and he was asking me to play, so it was late on in August before London moved, and that's not an ideal situation for anyone. Ideally you want a Kevin Van Veen scenario. He's away before the season starts and it allows you to use that money to recruit elsewhere, so it's no ideal, but there's been enough interest over him in the last 6 months to suggest that there's a good chance Joel might not be here, but the longer the window goes on, the more likelihood is that he's probably going to be here. Does that make sense? I'll let the window take care of itself. I'll let the window take care of the players, and the agents can go and do what they've got to do, and then come September the 2nd we'll sit down, reevaluate, look at the squad and say who's coming out of contract at the end of the year and who potentially can we offer contracts to, and we'll deal with that when the window shuts. But again, a lot of that's financially motivated, and you're not going to get many players shouting your door asking to sign a contract in the same terms. So most players are looking for a bump in their wages, as is everybody who's renegotiating their contract. So again, it's financially linked. How do you do that when your budget's been cut slightly and you've not got any inward investment into the football club at this point in time?